Hello, hello. Hi, 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 hi. How are you doing? Okay. How many are from Lively? Okay, we have about, how many again? Do that again. How many from Lively? How many Lively people do we have here? We got 6 Lively people here, so the rest of you are from away, is that right? You're from away. That's right. Yeah, we talked about that, right? This lady here married a Newfoundlander. But that's okay. He's moved to the mainland, so it's okay. Anyway, glad to see you here. We're going to introduce a number of people. We've got a few announcements to get underway. I'm John Lindsay. I'm currently president of CARP Sudbury. Our branch has approximately about 1,500 people throughout our general area here, and about 300,000 across the country. We're an advocacy group. We're not a service club. We advocate on behalf of seniors and try to improve the life of seniors. So here we are. What a beautiful place this is. We've been here a number of times. This is like a hotel. This is magnificent. When I'm ready, I'm moving in. Okay, but we have this is we're using our karaoke PA system here, and I'm not sure if I should sing "Fly Me to the Moon" or "All My." Okay, "Fly Me to the Moon." Or "All My Exes Are in Texas." Yeah. Want to thank our host here for having us, for hosting us, and I see that you've already sampled some of the wonderful treats that have been put out for us. But Jody, who's currently the manager, because I know he is because the sign was on the door when I came in, he's going to say hello to you and introduce one of the very important individuals here who's going to explain something about this fine complex of which you're going to have an opportunity. Well, Chrissy, you're going to explain that. Jody, you say hello.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi. Welcome to Chartwell Meadowbrook. I'm glad to see everybody here. I just wanted to come up and I'm going to introduce you to Christina, who's going to do all the talking, but I just wanted to welcome you to Meadowbrook. I will be in one of the rooms to show you guys what the rooms kind of look like in that, and Christine will be around to answer any other questions you have. So welcome to Meadowbrook, everybody.
Thank you. Woo! Yeah! Hello, everybody. Thank you all for those of you that came out from out of town. We're really happy to see you here, and we're really happy to host CARP meeting today. As Jody explained, we do have some model suites available, so if you'd like to take a tour after the meetings are over, we have 2 model suites open. Our 1 bedroom is located just down the hall over here and up the elevator. We've got some balloons out so you don't get lost on the way, and then Jody will be up there to show you around. We've got a studio model down the 5th, which is this hall on the right here as soon as you exit the library area, and again you'll find some balloons and Katie will be there to greet you. We got some forms that are on your chairs. If you'd like to fill them out, you'll be entered for a chance to win our prize, which is located at the end of the bar. And if you'd like further information, please fill out the bottom portion and we will be in touch with you in a few days to discuss, or if you'd like to come back for another personalized tour, we'd love to have you back again. Just a few housekeeping points. There's washrooms located down the hall here, just past the hair salon. Say hi to Sherry, our hairdresser, on your way. And our cash bar will be open for a little while after the meeting too. All drinks are $4.50. We've got a really nice mix there, and feel free to serve yourself to the treats that we've put out. And again, thanks for coming to Meadowbrook, and I hope you have a great time.
Right, thanks, Chris. And Sherry has her barber salon just down the hall. I was just down there. You noticed what a great job she did? Yeah? Yeah. Well, there's only so much you can do. I was talking to Sherry. She said that after she got married, her hair turned completely white. That's okay, her husband went bald. We have a number of announcements here, and we have our special guests, of course, who are going to be talking about fraud and scams. How many of you have thought you've been scammed or frauded or tried to get, right? Practically everybody. I mean, I like those ones, hi there. Your social insurance number has been compromised. Can you tell us what the number is? We've noticed some charges on your credit card. Can you tell us what your credit card number is? You know, I mean, and others too. And I'm sure that we're going to learn from Lise Laundrie, who's our special representative here. And she has a uniform on, but don't be worried, she doesn't carry a gun. And of course, we have someone that you may have heard about over the years, Peter Charlie Brown. He's semi-retired. Some of you may have gone to Peter over the years to have your computer fixed. Well, one thing he's noted for now in particular is sending out internet funnies on a regular basis. Now, some people sometimes get disturbed about that, but not me, because we all need a few laughs in our lives. And every day, practically, Charlie sends these little funnies along to me when Irene doesn't do it. Irene, you do too, right? Yeah, I know you sent me some great ones last night. I was going to bring along a few today, but you know, I didn't want anybody throwing their carrot cakes at me. But Charlie will be here along with Lise to talk about some of the computer frauds that may be out there, and may, of course, because they get more sophisticated all the time. It's amazing. I think how you know, we talk about the unemployed. I know what they're doing. They're out there doing scams. So we also have someone that's going to be a representative coming out to one of our future meetings, we hope. She's a citizen service representative from Service Canada. And Jasmine Morin, along with Celine, where are you? Right over here. These are two folks that will be talking about, if not today, you can talk to them, but we hope to have them along for another meeting, perhaps at our annual general meeting, which will be coming up in June. Some of the things, of course, that many people are concerned about right now of our age, and that's dental care. And apparently, as I understand right now, people my age, 87 and over, are qualified for that dental care, but it's going to change to those who are, I think, 65 plus? Okay, in a fairly short time. So that's dental care, and how that's going to work with any dental care you may already have with a various plan or so. But in any event, the government has done that for us. Those of us who have any teeth left will certainly benefit from that. And I'm looking for Sue Whalen. Did you come along, Sue? Sue has said she was coming along from the credit union. As you know, the Sudbury Credit Union has a branch right next door. And Sue was said she'd be dropping in, maybe not yet, but maybe a little bit later on.
No, she can't make it.
She can't make it?
No.
Oh, did she bring her door prizes though?
Yes, I have them.
Oh, she brought door prizes. Who cares if she came, right? I want to introduce our board members, and Irene Chiquetto was a previous board member, and she's just left us last year, which gives me a chance to put a plug in, because we need a few more board members, and we have a great little board now, but we need a few more. I'll be leaving as president at our annual meeting, so we need you. It's very, you know, not too much effort is required to be a board member of CARP. We have great meetings. We sometimes have luncheon meetings and dinner meetings, and we meet every couple of months, and we hold these meetings, of course, too. So if you feel like joining us, talk to Keith Argent. Keith is over there. See, he's waving his hand out there. Keith is, talk to Keith. He's one of our board members. Marianne Durkin, where is Marianne? Marianne is right here, another one of our board members. Pauline Pedorowski and Stan Pedorowski were at the door there doing your 50-50 draw. Those are our current board members. So we need a couple more. So come and see Keith afterwards. Oh, Paulette, I'm sorry. Oh, Paulette has organized this whole event and I forgot her. How could I have done that?
Seniors moment.
I have a lot of seniors moment lately. We wanted to mention just some things that have come up recently. We're very pleased that one of our city councilors introduced a motion to look into the possibility of tax deferral for people who own their own homes and are living in them, we presume, right now before they come over here. But they have decided to look at the program where your taxes, let's say you're paying $4,000 a year, those taxes can be applied to your home equity. And when the home is sold, well, then they take that back. But it's a great program that's in effect in many other communities across Canada, and it works out very well because you have the opportunity now, especially with the increase in home prices. So even though you may have that tax deferred to your home, the increase in value in the home probably is going to work out that you're going to be ahead of the game when the time comes. When the time comes, you won't be there, so it doesn't really matter. But who's ever left will be getting some of your property or money. What else do I have here? Oh, I wanted to mention that we have an event coming up which you may be interested in. It's the 28th annual Celebrate Women with Dr. Jean Marmero, if I'm pronouncing it right, Tuesday, May the 7th at 7:30 at Sudbury Secondary School. And what she'll be talking about, something we don't want to talk about too often, and that's dying. But she'll be talking there, and she has a book. She's written a book, and the book is entitled The Last Doctor, and it talks about MAID. And she'll be speaking there at Sudbury Secondary School, and I have some information on it if you'd like to come up and pick it up later on. And she's also be selling and signing her books at that particular time too. I think I've covered practically everything here, except my sing-along number, which we'll wait until later. So I think I've gotten here, blah, 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 blah. Yep, so once again, the opportunity with Jasmine, who we've been talking about on the internet by email for the past little while. And she will be, we hope, coming along, and also you'll be able to talk to her a little bit later on too. She's an expert as well too on frauds and schemes. She's done a number of frauds on people over the years because she works for the government. I was hoping for a bit of response on that actually, but and anyway, I got a call yesterday and somebody said, is there a list being formed about people who want to object to that new capital gains exemption, right? Where if you sell your cottage or whatever, it's over $250,000, you're going to be charged 2/3 on the capital gains. And I said, I don't know of anybody putting a list out, but I will mention it tomorrow. And if anyone's concerned, they can talk to us later on and we'll take your name. And you know, the government just wants more and more from us. It's a good thing we're not going to be around for that much longer. There's only so much they can take, right? You haven't heard about that, eh? When you die, they take everything. Yeah, okay. So, enough of me bantering along here. It's time for the big show. Lise, where are you? Oh, okay, hiding behind the post there. Just... I can see you now. Okay. Are you ready? Yeah. Is this up to date? Do you have the latest scams and frauds and all that sort of thing? Yeah. Yeah. You added a few more. So they keep coming every day, right? Anyway, you got to talk nice and close to this so everybody can hear. That includes me in the back room there. And and then we'll have Charlie as a resource person talking about, because Charlie is right there. Peter Charlie Brown, who's been, remember he had to shop there on, yeah. Do you ever take your machine in to get fixed? No, you'd never get it back. I'm just kidding. Take it away.
Thank you, John. He's going to have a nap. He's going to have a nap. He's going to go have a nap. Hi, everybody. My name is Lise. I am the Seniors Liaison with the Greater Sudbury Police. You can't hear me? Okay. Just, I speak at a different volume than John does. That's going to be, they're just going to get into the little room here and turn up the volume. I think that's what she's going to do. Okay, so is this better? Okay, perfect. So this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, I'm here to talk to you guys about frauds and scams. Oh, good. Thank you, John. Do you want to come help me, John? Yeah. So, the important thing to So knowledge is power. The more you understand what it is that scammers are looking for, where they're coming from, and what they're going to try to do to you, the better you'll be able to protect yourself. So it's very important to know some of their tricks, and some of the things they're going to ask you, so that you're going to become leery of them and afraid to talk to them, because you know what? You shouldn't be talking to them. Who is vulnerable? Everyone is. There is no one innocent and who's not going to get that phone call. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, someone who's new to the country, who's been in the country forever. It doesn't matter. Everyone is a target of these scammers. Unfortunately, the vulnerable people are the ones that are more likely to become victims and not catch on, are older adults or people who have accents or hearing difficulties, because they're not hearing correctly and they're not hearing what's being said and they don't understand what these people are trying to do. So it's very, very important to be aware. We grew up, and I'm counting myself as you guys because I'm almost a senior myself. We all grew up in neighborhoods where we could count on our neighbors, where we could ask our neighbors for a cup of sugar if we needed it. We didn't believe that people were going to lie to us. We didn't believe that people would mislead us. But unfortunately, in today's society, it's completely different. Everything has changed. These scammers, this thing is a multi-million-dollar business. So it's never going to go away. We need to learn how to protect ourselves. Where does it start? Usually it's a phone call, a letter, a request to become friends on social media, and it's always with people we don't know. They're not associated to anyone we know. They're not friends of friends. They're just random strangers who reach out. And it's very, very important to be cautious because, we think, well, what harm is there in making a new friend? But that new friend can lead you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. It's very, very important to be cautious and be aware. One of the biggest ones is dating sites and social media connections. Those are the worst. Friend requests and dating sites are where most strangers will reach out to you. Because you've opened the can of worms if you're on that social, if you have a Facebook page that isn't protected, or if you are on a dating site, it makes you more vulnerable because it opens that door to strangers to connecting with you. And it's very easy to think, oh, this person seems like a really nice person. Scammers want you to reach out and become their friends. And of course, they're going to ask for more than that. They're going to express feelings for you at a very, very quick time. And they're going to give you excuses as to why you can't meet. They're going to say that they're in another country for work. But they're from Sudbury. But they want you to believe that because then you will feel more secure in speaking with them. They will express, as I said, their feelings for you rather urgently. But how do you know who it is that you're speaking to? What leads you to know who that person is? Technically, you don't know who they are, right? First of all, have you had a face-to-face meeting with them? And I do mean by Zoom. I mean, if they're in another country, it's kind of hard to have a face-to-face. But you can have a face-to-face by Zoom. You can do that through Facebook. You can do that through various other systems and reach out and connect to see who they are. But these scammers are going to give you every excuse in the book not to have that face-to-face meeting. Because that girl that you're talking to is really a guy. Or that guy you're talking to isn't 50, he's actually 25, and he's doing it to get the money. That's his whole purpose in getting this relationship. They're also going to avoid phone conversations because, again, their voice can give away their gender or their age, or at least about their age. They are going to say that they can't get to a phone. They're going to make all kinds of excuses not to connect with you. But I want you to remember, if they're sending you messages, they have access to internet. If they're sending you messages through Facebook Messenger, they have access to internet. If they have access to internet, they can then message, they can do videos, and they can make phone calls. Because you can do all that through Facebook. I know my partner and I, we talk to his sister in Alberta all the time through Facebook because it doesn't cost us anything, and we can do video chats. It's great. And like, I live outside of the city, and his other sister lives in Isilda, and it's over an hour drive for us, but it's a 2-minute press a button and have a conversation face to face. And during COVID, it was great because you sit there and play cards or whatever together and do stuff as a group on Zoom. So it's certainly something that's useful that you can do and have. So it's really a good thing to do, but these scammers don't want you to do that because then you'll know who they are. Oh. Thank you for pointing that out, because I didn't see it. I can't see behind me, right? So these people that have suddenly become your friends through Facebook or dating site or whatever, suddenly they need money. They will need money for an accident, a medical emergency. They'll say that their money's tied up in their country and they need money to be able to pay off some charge that they're being charged so they can get their money. They will always start with small amounts and then slowly grow the amounts. I don't know if you heard on the news recently, a gentleman lost $25,000 on a computer scam. It happens, and like he said, it was always little bits, small amounts. He's 83 years old. He thought he was calling the Geek Squad, but he wasn't calling the Geek Squad because he didn't double check the page that he was on. But we'll get to that later. So they have so many scenarios. I can't speak to all of them. It's impossible for me to do so. I want you to remember a few things. If you are speaking to someone and all they're doing is sending you pictures, they may be catfishing you. What that means is they're sending you a picture of who they think you want them to be, not the picture of who they actually are. I'm going to give you guys an example of a call that I received from a gentleman. His daughter had contacted me and said she was worried about her dad, and I said, have Dad call me because he won't believe anything you say anyways, because he'll think you're jealous or that you want his money or whatever else. So I said, you know what, have him call me. And sure enough, Dad was having a conversation with a woman, and I said, how do you know who she is? And he said, well, she's sending me pictures. I've had pictures of her and her kids at the beach. Oh, she lived in Florida. Her and her kids at the beach, and I've had pictures of her and her kids at restaurants and stuff, and doing social outings and stuff. And I said, yeah, but how do you know that's her? He said, well, why would she send me pictures of another person? I said, well, you do realize that scammers will go onto unprotected Facebook pages, steal all of someone's photos, and then present that as them. Nah, she wouldn't have done that. That was his reply. I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, may I ask? I said, between you and me, nobody else is going to know this, but have you sent her money? And he goes, well, yeah, she had a car accident, so I helped her out. I said, oh, how do you know she had a car accident? Well, she sent me a picture of the car. Again, a picture, how do you know? Right? So, we spoke further, and it came out that she was in England or in Europe somewhere getting an inheritance. And I said, oh, how much money did she ask you on that one? He said, what do you mean? She's not, like, I'm really excited for her. She's got a huge future ahead of her. Her and her kids will be all set now. They're going to have money. I said, yeah, but how much money did she ask you? Did she tell you she had to pay taxes? Did she tell you that she had to pay an inheritance fee? And he's like, oh, no, she's not going to ask me for any money. No. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call saying thank you because I'd saved him from a very large amount of money being sent to her because she did call and ask for it. So it is something that you have to be aware of. You have to be cautious. You have to be very careful of who you speak with and who you connect with, because unfortunately, scammers are out there, and it's horrible. Now, the grandparent scam. This one is always changing, and I've had to add a second slide to this one because it's getting so bad. First of all, I'm going to suggest to you that next time you're together with your family, set up a password, a family password. In case of an emergency, the password has to be used in order for you to be able to assist them. That is the most important thing I can suggest to you, because that will give you some protection. Typically, a grandparent will receive a call and they will be told that their grandchild has been involved in a vehicle mishap. Perhaps they were driving impaired. They're going to say that they need money for medical care, a lawyer, or for bail. And they can even send someone to pick up the money from you. No problem. They're more than happy to send someone to pick up the money from you and bring it to the courthouse. They will ask you to send prepaid cards, Bitcoins, and so on. And and if you think you're talking to your grandchild for real, I want you to consider that artificial intelligence requires less than 3 seconds of someone's voice to create an entire conversation in that person's voice. You know that big actor strike that we had? That was because of artificial intelligence, and the fact that artificial intelligence can be used to make it look like that actor is in a movie when that actor never even isn't getting paid because they weren't there. That's why they were on strike. They didn't want artificial intelligence to take over their parts and their voices. And I don't blame them. But it's being used by scammers all the time. I can tell you that as far as someone being in bail, you will never send money to bail someone out. You actually physically have to go to the courthouse. You have to present yourself in front of the Justice of the Peace. The Justice of the Peace then has to determine if you are a suitable candidate to sign this person out. And if you are a suitable candidate, you have to be present to sign the documents. It's not bring money and pay cash and let them out. That's an American thing, not a Canadian thing. So please remember that. If someone says, well, we'll send someone to pick up the money, say, yeah, right, and hang up the phone, because this is not how our system works. Our Canadian judicial system requires you to go to the courthouse where this person is, okay? Very, very important to protect yourself, to remember that. And of course, the courthouse will not accept e-transfers. They will not accept gift cards. They will not accept Bitcoin, anything like that. Credit, they want you to actually physically go to the courthouse, and generally they don't ask for money. You are signing a promissory note, but you are not paying cash to bail someone out. Very, very important to remember. Now there's a new one that's come out, and again, the password is very useful on this one as well. Receiving a phone call from what you believe to be your grandchild, because they are using AI and they are pretending to be your grandchild or your child, could be your child even though they're adults, saying, hey, you know what, I dropped my phone in the toilet, my phone doesn't work anymore, so I've had to borrow this guy's phone and I'm using his phone, but I need your help, can I get some money? Because I got to replace my phone. Well, if they don't have your password, please hang up the phone, or tell them to call their parents, or tell them to go to the bank themselves and get their own money, because you're not sending them money, okay? I can speak to this one. My sister-in-law received a phone call from someone who was claiming to be her son-in-law, and they were like, oh, well, Mom, I lost my phone. Like, I'm in trouble. And he runs a business, and she knows that. And the person on the other phone sounded a lot like him. And she was like, so tell me, where do we camp? The phone went dead because this person had no idea how to answer that question. So just having that little something to ask, to say, you know, I don't know, this sounds fishy. Ask that question, have that password, because that will protect you. Because you have no way of knowing who you're actually speaking to anymore. It's really scary out there. Other similar scams, your social security number has been used to perpetuate a crime. Please press 1 to speak to an officer. Border services have intercepted a parcel containing contraband. Please press 1 to speak to an officer. Or your credit card may have been compromised and was used for 2 transactions, and they say what the transactions are. I just can't remember what they are. Please press 1 to speak to an operator. All of these are scams. All of these, they want you to press the 1, because if they can get you to press the 1, they can get you to talk to an operator, they can then play the game. So I get these phone calls on my work cell phone all the time, and when I do get them on my work cell phone, I play with it, because how am I going to learn what to tell you guys about, right? So I pressed 1 on the credit card one, and the guy says to me, he says, yes, what are you calling about? I said, I don't know, you tell me, you called me. He hung up so fast because he didn't know which scam message I received, right? Because they don't know, they're just answering the phone because someone pressed 1. It could be any one of these 3 or 4 or 5 other scams that they have going. If you don't tell them what you're calling about, they have no clue. But I can tell you that you can be anyone when you're victimized. Someone I work with not in the community, very professional woman who runs a business, years ago had her credit card compromised. She got that phone call and she went, oh my gosh. So she called, she pressed 1 and she said, yeah, you called because my card's compromised. And I said, well, can we have your card number? She said, sure. She gave him the card number. This is a mature woman who knows not to do that. But she was terrified. She was sure that her card had been compromised again. So by giving her the number, they told her that it was a Visa or a MasterCard. She also told them which bank she deals with. So they went based on that and said, oh, okay, and I'm making up fictitious story as to locations here and banks, like I'm just, they said, oh, you deal with the Royal Bank on LaSalle, great. So we need you to go to, and they looked on the map and went, Walmart or the new Sudbury, the superstore. We're going to send you to the superstore. Yeah, go to the superstore, and you're going to go and do a transaction so that we can catch the scammers. And she's like, okay. They called her on her cell phone. They stayed on the cell phone with her the whole time. She drove to the super mall, went to the grocery store, walked into the superstore. They told her which cards to purchase, how much to ask for on each card. It was $2,000 total. She got to the cash register. They were on the phone with her, told her, she did all the cards at the amounts that they said. She paid for it and went, oh my gosh, I'm being scammed. She realized when she paid for them. Right away, the store manager was called. The store manager said, right now, first thing you're gonna do is call your credit card company and cancel that card, and then we'll deal with the next steps. And then they assisted her with the next steps. She said it was the most freaking scary thing she's ever had happen to her because she's smart. She doesn't understand how she fell for it. I said, anybody could fall for it. But the biggest mistake is giving your credit card number. Never give your credit card number to someone calling you. If you are calling somewhere to purchase something, then you're going to make sure you're calling somewhere reliable. That's a different story. If you're doing an online purchase, same thing, you are going to make the purchase. But again, at a reliable page, and we will speak to that shortly. Very, very important to be careful. Now we're going to talk about the scary one. This one's really scary. This is happening in Toronto. I belong to Law Enforcement Agencies and Partners Protecting Seniors, which is a provincial organization. And once a month we meet and we talk about all the different scams that are going on. And of course, it hits Toronto long before it hits us. And sometimes they don't even come up here, but I like to make sure people are aware of it. So the newest one is someone calling to say that they're calling from the bank, and it looks like they are based on the phone number coming in. And they are saying that your debit card has been compromised. And they're asking the victim for their PIN number. Then they're telling the victim that because their card has been compromised, the bank remains the owner of your debit card. You are not the owner of your debit card. It belongs to the bank. And the bank explains that to them and says, because we're your bank, we're going to come and collect your card. We're going to send an employee to pick up the card. It got so bad that one of the employees asked the victim to pay for his Uber. That would have been my clue right there that there was something going on that was wrong, but it does happen. So yes, your debit card belongs to the bank. It is property of the bank, which is why you should never give it to someone else. And yes, they're allowed to call you in regards to your card, but if your card is compromised, they're going to ask you to destroy it, and they're going to ask you to go to the branch and get a new card, or they'll mail you one in the mail, whatever arrangements you made with them. They're never going to send someone to pick up the card. Second thing, or actually first thing, more important than that, is your PIN number is your personal identification number. It is your number, no one else's. No one should have that number, including your spouse, your kids, no one. It is your personal number. You are not to share it. That is the only thing that is protecting your money that is in your account. So very, very important to remember that, okay? But this is a huge scam that's in the Toronto area, so it's probably coming this way eventually, so please be aware of it. For those of you who own businesses and have businesses, there's also one called the QR code scam. So what you're going to receive is you're going to receive a document with a QR code on it, and usually it's you're paying a bill or whatever, or you're expecting money to come in from this purchaser, and the purchaser has sent you a QR code, and they've asked you to scan the QR code and put your bank information so that they can pay you. When you do that, you're actually giving them your money. So please don't count on that for payment methods. Don't use QR codes. If someone sends you a QR code asking you for money, do not use that. Say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with that. Let me send you a check or a transfer or whatever. Make sure it's a legitimate business bill that you're getting and not something that's been misdirected. This is something that was very important to let you guys know about, but I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't own a business. I don't know enough about it. What are they looking for? They're going to start out with small amounts, 20, 50, 60, 80, 100, and then the amounts are going to increase. They will send you to a bank or a retailer. They will give you a script, as I said they did with that lady with her credit card. And they're going to tell you how to answer questions. They're going to tell you what to tell the bank, because the bank's going to ask you questions if you're doing a transaction that's out of nature, unnatural for what you do. And banks are doing that not to be snoopy, not to stick their nose in your personal business, but to protect you. They need to ask you those questions to make sure that you are not being victimized. It's very, very important to talk to them, be honest with them, and not be afraid that they're trying to find out what's your personal business. If you're taking out $5,000 because you're giving it to your son because your son's buying a new car and you want to help him, hey, go for it. If you're taking out $5,000 to give to your son because your son is traveling in another country and needs it, that's suspicious, right? And that's where they're going to ask you some questions to make sure it really is your son and not some scammer trying to get money from you. So very, very important to remember that they are trying to help you. If they reach you on a cellular phone, as I said, they will stay on the phone with you through the entire purchases of what they make you go purchase. And they will call you over and over again and ask you for more and more and more. They will have you purchase prepaid cards, and they'll also ask you to deposit money into your wallet in a Bitcoin account, which is really their wallet, not yours. They will also tell you how to package money for it to be picked up. They will tell you exactly how to package it. I'll give you an example of that. A gentleman in Toronto received a phone call. His grandson was in jail, needed bail money. His grandson was caught drinking and driving. Grandpa went to the bank and took the money out that they were asking for and came home and was packaging it the way that the scammers told him to package it. His daughter came over, knocked on the door and said, "Dad, what are you doing?" And he was honest with her, and he said, "Well, your son's in jail. He got caught drinking and driving." She's like, "Really, Dad?" He's like, "Yeah, really." So turns out that his grandson lived in an apartment downstairs. So his daughter went over to the door and knocked on the door, and his grandson opened the door. They freaked him out so bad that he didn't think to knock on the door and check on his grandson. His grandson was home the entire time. That's how good they are at convincing you that they are who they say they are. Okay? Very, very important. Red flags, you have limited time to act. Keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone. There's a gag order. Don't speak to anyone about it. Those are things that they will use to prevent you from speaking about it. And if you are told any of those things, please go talk to someone about it. Do not keep it a secret. Make a phone call. You can call the information. If you don't have anyone around you that you can talk to that you feel comfortable with, we have information officers on a desk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, who will gladly speak to you and convince you that this is a scam. They will take the time to talk to you. I work Monday to Thursday. If you call when I'm available, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Always, always reach out to someone, even if it is a family member. Remember that your family members are not out to get you. The scammers likely is. Okay? Very important. Or most of the time the family member is not out to get you. And they don't want you to have time to consider. They don't want you to have time to talk to a family member. They want you to act quickly, and that way they can get your money. That's their intent. Very, very important. Another one that makes me chuckle a little bit is, you've won a ridiculous amount of money. Usually it's 38 or 40 million US. That's what I've seen the last time I saw it. So are you going to believe that you won a 40 million US dollars? Are you going to believe that? Because if you do, I have some swampland to sell you. What I want you to remember, the first thing that I want you to think about when you get these notifications is, did you buy a ticket? Because if you didn't buy a ticket, you did not win the lottery. It's as simple as that, right? Winners are not randomly selected by email addresses. So if it's a random email that came out of nowhere, you're not the winner, okay? And you're never required to pay an upfront fee if you win the lottery. So if you win $1 million on the Lotto 649, you will receive $1 million. There are no upfront fees other than, oh yeah, that ticket you had to buy. You won't pay taxes. You won't pay any other fees. If you choose to take that $1 million and put it in your bank account and collect interest on it, you will be taxed on the interest in a year, not on the money that you initially won. That is yours, period. Tax-free. That's how it is set up in our country, okay? So please remember that. If you didn't buy a ticket, you don't win. Canada Revenue Agency. They will call you and we're calling from the CRA. Because they don't want to use the term Canadian Revenue Agency. They just say CRA because we all make that assumption. And it is quite popular during tax time, which is now. The government does not will not call us unnecessarily. You will know if you should be talking to Canada Revenue. They will have sent you letters. They will have sent you notices. They will have advised you that they need to reach out to you. If they do need to call you, they will have to confirm that they are speaking to you. They will ask you a few questions. I have been told that generally they will ask the last 3 digits of your social insurance number, not the whole thing, and or your previous address, not your current address. because these are things that Canada Revenue has on file. So it's very easy for them to check. Even if you moved 25 years ago, they know where you used to live. As long as you were paying taxes 25 years ago, they have that information. And that's what they are going to ask you. So please be aware of that. Again, they do not send emails saying that there is a refund for you, nor will they send you a text saying that they have a refund for you. They will occasionally send you an email that says, please log into my account on their website, which is legitimate because you have to log in and you have to go through a whole lot of loopholes to get into that account. But that's all they will send you. They will not tell you what they're talking about. They will not tell you that they're sending you a refund through that email. They're just going to say, please log in. That's all. That's it. So again, they don't send emails saying, here's your refund, nor will they say you owe us money in an email. They will not send text, which is one that's very common as well. Here's your refund. And they do not send out letters addressed to you, but asking for your date of birth, social insurance number. This one is something newer, so it looks legitimate. It's on Canada Revenue paper, but I mean, that's easy to duplicate. And they will send a letter with a return envelope, and they will say, please fill in your date of birth and your social insurance number. Now, your name and your address are really easy to locate. Anyone can find that. So it's easy for them to create this document, put your name and address and mail it to you and ask you to provide them with your date of birth and your social insurance number. And if you provide them that information, woohoo, they're going shopping on your account. So please be very, very cautious and do not do that. Do not send that information. So then we're going to talk about fishing, and I don't mean for lake trout. The word means that they're trying to get information from the victim. They're trying to get personal details such as your date of birth, name of your parents, your kids, even your pets or your teachers. They will use false draws. They will get you to participate in all kinds of liking and sharing programs on Facebook or other social media platforms. Or they will ask you to simply answer your phone. By answering your phone, you're providing them with all kinds of information. So you do have to be very, very cautious of that. I can tell you that when you provide them with your date of birth, the name of your parents, your kids, even pets and teachers, and even on those little games on social media where you're providing that information innocently by saying, oh, what year were you born? Oh, I was born in 1964. And then another little game that says, oh, what month were you born in? Oh, I was born in November. That could be the same scammer trying to get your information, slowly in bits and pieces. So be very, very cautious of those, especially if you don't know the source. You don't know where they're coming from. But let's talk about answering that call. So the phone rings, and you don't recognize the number, but you don't realize that you answer the phone. What is it that you're giving them automatically? What is the harm of answering that phone call? Well, let me tell you. Answering that phone call gives them, I say 5 items. They say 4, but I say 5. It will tell them the number is an active number. It will tell the scammers that someone is home at that time of day. It will tell them your gender. It will tell them your age demographics. And if you're from another country, it will tell them that you're a foreigner, possibly new to the country, depending on how strong your accent is. So those are all little things that they can use against you. I have an 85-year-old woman who likes to answer that freaking phone. And I keep telling her, you can't keep doing that. You're going to get caught one of these days. She's like, no, I'm never going to get caught. I've told them I'm 85 years old, I'm a widow, and nobody's going to get me. I'm like, really? With your accent? She has a very, very strong accent. She's told them how old she is, and she's told them that she lives alone. Only by saying that, over and above the other things that you're automatically giving them. And she's like, oh my gosh, I never thought of it. I said, yes, you've got to stop answering that phone. If you do not know the number, do not answer the call. Let it go to voicemail. If it's important, they'll leave you a message. And it'll give you a chance to listen to the message and go, yeah, that's a scam. Or, I don't know. But if they claim to be your kids, and they leave you a different phone number than the one that you know to be your kid's number, don't call that number. Call your kid's number. Same with your grandkids. Everybody has a little black book or a list of phone numbers somewhere in their home where they keep track of everybody's phone numbers. So please use that and only that number to call them back, okay? Protect yourself. Identity theft is when scammers will use your information to create a false identity. They can open accounts and make purchases in your name, and they will turn your life upside down. A lot of people think this doesn't happen in Northern Ontario, but I can tell you that we've had people show up at a dealership with a driver's license with their picture on it, but someone else's information in Toronto, and they've purchased a vehicle and driven away. And then that guy in Toronto gets a bill for a truck and thinks, when did I spend $100,000 on a truck? They didn't. They then have to come forward and speak to it and start an investigation. So it's very, very important to be cautious with your information and keep it private. Now let's talk about going online. It's very important to know your Uniform Resource Locator, which is the web page. It's just a fancy name for it. So an example here is gsps.ca. So you type in gsps.ca in your search bar and it opens up. I want you to go back to your search bar and double check it, because sometimes web pages get kidnapped or hijacked and they misdirect you to another that looks very similar. In this example, I'm using gsps.uk.org. So you've been directed to another Facebook page or another web page that isn't the police services, but when you open it, it looks like the police services until you push a few buttons, and then you've gone down a rabbit hole of scammers and fraudsters. So be very, very cautious and always double check the web page. Online shopping. Does anybody here online shop? I love Amazon. Amazon is great. It's much too easy though, because it's like, oh yeah, I need this. But yeah, Amazon is a great website. There's a few other ones that are great as well. But I want you to know that when you're going to be going online shopping, I want you to check a few things. So you know the HTTPS that's in front of a web page address? At the beginning, there's HTTPS. S stands for secure. So if there's no S there, don't go to that web page, because your credit card won't be protected, okay, or your payment method. Be very cautious of that. Also, on the search bar, you're going to see a little lock at the end of the search bar. That little lock should be locked. It should be closed. That's another way of checking to make sure it's a secure page. So just a couple of things that you should check for before you go shopping. We also suggest that you shop at vendors you know and trust. If you want to explore new vendors, do so, but first do your research. Ask questions, ask friends, ask people you know that have used that web page. Because you know what, there's so many out there that are, poor quality, you get what you pay for. Sure, okay, yeah, that dress is $3, but that dress is made from some strange material that you've never heard of and doesn't fit like it should because it's made in Japan, so it's really, really small. Sizing is way off. So you want to be very, very cautious of things like that and protect yourself. So be careful, please. And we do recommend that you use a pay service such as PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or a credit card that you have a small limit on, that you only use that card when you shop online. Do things to protect yourself. I mean, there's another dozen or so pay methods. Those are the only three that I can think of off the top of my head that I would trust. But you never know. There's more. And then, of course, if you have been victimized, they will offer to assist you. They will, if you were a victim of fraud and you lost some money, they will call you and tell you that they are calling from a police service or from a bank, and they are calling to help you recoup your funds. I want you to remember that bank employees and police officers are paid to do that job. They're not going to ask you for any extra money to do this, do the search for you, okay? And then, of course, there's mules. Mules are people who have been victimized and are then offered to recoup some of their money by using their address to send money to. There's a couple in Toronto who were being used as mules. They've been victimized. They lost all their savings, and they were offered, and they thought, well, why not? We need money. So the money was being sent to them from other victims, and they were accepting the money, and then they were delivering the money into, some of it into their bank account, and some of them into the scammer's bank account. So they were money laundering, and the police did warn them that they were facing criminal charges, and they continued doing it. So at 70, they were arrested for doing this. So it's be aware that it is against the law to do so. Mortgage scams, the victim invites the scammer to do an inspection or repair a piece of equipment. The scammer overcharges and does a shoddy job. They install a new furnace and put a lien on the home for an exaggerated amount. So a $7,000 furnace, they put a lien of $70,000 of it. They'll tell you you're paying no interest. Well, you are paying, because they're going to make you pay for a long time. Very, very careful. Be very cautious of these things. This is like a door-to-door sales situation. Only you've invited the scammer into your home. Door-to-door sales with a service contract for repairs or updates to your home is what they are doing, but they're doing it legally, because by law they can't go knocking on your door. But if you call them and invite them to come and look at your furnace, if they're an unsavory company, shall we say, they can then commit fraud and cause you some headaches. They will make you sign at the door. They're going to be pressure sales is what you're going to get. They're going to go and look at your furnace and red tag it and say you can't use that furnace anymore, even though you need a new blower. Like, it may not be it may be something that's repairable, but they're going to tell you it's irreparable, you need to replace your furnace. Because of course they want to be able to put in the new furnace so that they can put a notice of security interest on your home and put a lien on your home. They will do this a few times for different things that they can bring into your home. And then when you have 4 or 5 liens on your home, they're going to suggest that you should get remortgage your home. And they'll bring in a mortgage broker and everybody and set everything up for you. And you're going to be paying 25% on your mortgage. It's crazy. Homeowners are generally not aware that there's any notice of security interests on their home. The only way you can find out if there is a notice of security interest on your home, it's called a nosy, is through land transfer search. And in a land transfer search, all the liens are there. It's $30. It's a very simple process if ever you want to check it out and see if there's any liens on your home. So only 5 to 10% of scams are reported every year. In 2023, $554 million worth of scams were done. $554 million in 1 year. And in 2022, the year previous, it was $530 million. They are asking for more money much faster now, and it's growing very big. The biggest scams are investment scams, which are cryptocurrency scams, romance scams, and spear phishing, which is against companies and businesses. They tend to be targeting more so that you pay more and give them your information, like your social insurance number, bank cards, and credit card information. If you have been victimized, please call the police. Do not let your pride get in your way. If you sent money in a parcel by mail, we may be able to stop it from being delivered and get your money back. We have done that before. Same with the courier program. If you've sent it through Purelator, we can get Purelator to stop the delivery on the parcel. That can be done if you report it immediately to police. If you're just receiving phone calls, please do not entertain these scammers with conversations. They will keep calling. If you happen to answer the phone and realize it's a scammer on the other line, just say no thanks and hang up the phone. Don't have any conversation with them. And these can be reported to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. You can do it online or you can do it at their 800 number, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to stop there because you guys look like you've got a whole bunch of other stuff going, but that pretty much covers everything.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, hello, hello. We're back on again. Peter, Charlie Brown, come up here just for a minute. I want you, wow, that was scary, wasn't it, huh? I'm almost afraid to answer the door, my phone. You know, I'm even suspicious of my friends now. How do I know they're Marina, my friends? They could be artificial intelligence. Robots. Where'd Charlie go? Well, you've been a computer person for a zillion years now. We were talking about, Lisa's mentioning what can happen with your computer. And I just have a question for you here because something came up on the internet which I thought would be great for a friend of mine. So I sent it off to her and she seems to have been locked into something else. Somehow connected to, I don't know if it's a scammer or not, but it seems like she can't get rid of the message that I sent to her. What happened there? Any idea?
My wife got into that this week, and the first thing I told her was to purge her Google Chrome. It took 45 minutes to clean it out. After that, her pop-up stopped.
So how do these things happen anyway? I'm talking nice and close here.
Okay, first of all, my name is Peter Brown, but most people know me by my old Falconbridge nickname, Charlie Brown. I've been running my Charlie Browns for now over 50 years, and we've run into a lot of stuff. Now, the good news is a lot of grandparents used to call me on a Monday. My grandkids were over this weekend. Monday morning, my computer doesn't work anymore. Nowadays, we're lucky. What happens when your grandkids come over now? They slouch on the couch and play with their phone and leave your computer alone. Now that there is no magic formula, unfortunately, everything has to do with this. Your sixth sense. Does it feel right? Does it not feel right? Last year, I went into 3 months of cognitive issues and got scammed 4 times. The first time, I saw a deal on eBay. First rule, if the price is unbelievable, then it probably is. And I bought 2. One showed up at my door. They sent me emails, track where your shipment is. I went to eBay to track. While I was there, pop-up came up. It says, you're the 25th person here. We got a survey for you. If you pass the survey, you're going to win a prize. So I answered the quiz, and I answered it. It says, for $1.25, we're going to get this pottery set. I said, oh, great. And meanwhile, my sixth sense is saying, Charlie, it's a scam. But I was cognitive. It wasn't registering. So eventually my parcel showed up. Did it have the 2 drives in it I wanted? 1. This was from a 5-star vendor. Well, he should be good. I got 1. So I went and messaged him saying, you only sent me one, where's my second one? No answer. So I had to go to eBay, and eBay got him, and they told me if your second drive hasn't showed up by now, because eBay does guarantee your purchase, we're going to refund your money. So if the money's not there by such and such a day, we'll give you your money back. So they gave me my money back and what I didn't receive. 5 days later, the second drive showed up. The problem with both drives, they weren't new. They were, when I went to check the warranty on them, the warranty says, oh, this has been taken out of some computer. If I don't have that Dell computer, my warranty's no good. So I complained back to eBay. eBay gave me all my money back. So I got scammed on eBay twice. The next time was, they've called me 5 or 6 times. This is Bell. We're losing customers. We're going to start giving people 30% discount starting next month. Click. But I got my cognitive freaking issues, and I says, well, you're just scamming me. He says, no, your bill is $267.25. Well, how did he know that? So they said, we're going to send you an email. And it came in, and as he was mentioning about AI, I received an email. It said bell.ca, and there's a code in it. I had to give the code out, and they said, okay, fine. Next month you'll get 30% off, but we have to verify who you are. We need to see a picture of your front and the back of your driver's license. Next red flag. So I did it. So then afterwards I says, oh, I got carried away. I got in touch with Bell. So I actually come out ahead. They said, we can't give you 30%, but they discounted my Bell bill now 20%. So I came out ahead on that one. On the eBay one, I then got an email from MasterCard saying, we've locked your card off because they've been charging an unknown amount from an unknown supplier. Well, is this a scam? So I logged in my MasterCard account and talked to them. They tried to charge me $328 for the free set I was supposed to arrive. They stopped it. What else is on my bill that day? $35 for a cat place. I don't own a cat. Well, so back to freaking MasterCard again. And they stopped that payment as well. Then we ran into a problem that said, well, the company says, we never got the money. We can't give you a refund. So eventually, after 3 months, I did get my money back from MasterCard. The next one was, I ran into a problem with something I bought from Amazon in the States. Of the 4 items, 1 came from Florida, 1 came from Virginia, and 2 came from California. The one in Virginia showed up fine. The one in Florida came in, all the contents were all spilled out in the container. The ones from California never made it past Nevada. The one that the contents were spilled inside, Amazon gave me a return notice. I said, it's only worth $20. Do they want me to return it? Oh, okay, it's their dollar. So I sent it back, but meanwhile, I emptied the contents into another jar. 2 in California, that went back and forth for a while. They sat down and said Nevada received it, or said they didn't receive it. And finally they said, oh no, they sent it back and it got lost somewhere. So I got my refund for all the stuff. So I was lucky, I've been lucky in everything. Next thing is my mutual fund company got hacked a year and a half ago. And they're now putting everybody with that mutual company on TransUnion to check your credit for the next year. Great, so I figured I'd give my driver's license to 2 different places, so if anybody tries doing this mortgage scam, TransUnion is going to come up and say, oh, by the way, somebody's trying to do something funny on your account. I went in this spring because I figured I had to renew it in June. The mutual company gave us another year, so I got TransUnion protecting me. I had MasterCard protecting me. And finally, I started using 2 ginseng tablets a week, and now I got my cognitive back. So it may work for me, it may not work for you. So, as I say, the scammers come up with something new every day. With the bell, that was an AI generated thing. AI generated the complete bell email they send you, and they scammed it as it looked like it came from bell.ca. And as I say, the next thing was, how did they know my bill was $267.28? So I talked to the Bell rep. How did they know this? I think the Bell got hacked and they never told any of us. So I went to log back in the next day, check was in my Bell account. Password doesn't work. So I got on the Bell directly. She says, well, I'll email you. I said, well, it didn't come through. Said, well, your email is such and such. That's not my email. The hackers were into my account and changed my email address in my account. So finally I gave her the correct one. She sent me the notice with the code that looked exactly like the scammers' freaking message they sent me. I guess I got scammed. It looked pathetic, but this AI is going to make this scamming easier for the scammers, harder for you. So finally got that straightened out. I went into my Bell account. Nickname, Marlene. What? My name is Charlie Brown, not Marlene. I went in there and changed that all out. Apparently there's 3 sections to your Bell account. In one of the sections is, when you change your password, they're going to, when you ask you, I forgot my password, they're going to send it out to me. The second person, all their information was on the second part. I had to purge that out. There were 3 parts I had to go purge, 3 parts out. Since then, no more problem, my password works. So just be aware that you go into your Bell account, there's 3 sections you have to check. Now then, I've had one customer come in. He's been scammed 9 times. I told him, you're on the sucker list. As soon as they got you once, they're going to keep going back. But now I find it's not called a sucker list anymore. It's called a pig slaughter. Because they're going to keep going at you till they drain you dry. They call it pig slaughter. Do they care if that's all your life savings? Their attitude is, you've got money sitting in your bank account doing nothing, probably collecting interest. And I could be out buying a new car. I could be taking out the fancy wife and car somewhere. I could be doing this, I could be doing that. So they don't care that you lost the money. They're going to enjoy it. You're not. So you're up against that mentality. So they come up with something new every day. You've probably all gotten a call saying, there's been a charge put on your Amazon account. Click. Amazon doesn't call you. When I was dealing with Bell, she says, Bell does not call you. They'll send you an email. So a lot of these places. Now, the other thing is, how many people have got a log they keep their passwords in? I'm not seeing too many hands going up. I started off with a single page I kept by my computer that when I go in, I can go look for the passwords. And it got full. Then I went to the second page. Then my wife came down and says, here's the logbook. So I went in and I went through alphabetically, A to Z. But now what's happening is that logbook's not big enough. Now you got to do 2 pages per letter. Because now a lot of the places want you, when you go in, Ask your security questions. What city were you born? What's your favorite destination? Well, this is all going to be written down in this log, so you need more room. So have a logbook. The next thing with the logbook, if you're by yourself, you can leave that on the table, you don't care. But if you've got people coming into your place, make sure you put this away in a drawer so they don't know where it is. Hopefully, when you pass on, when your son comes in to do the estate, he knows where to find it. Now, yes.
I'd like to know why senior citizens have to do this bullshit on the computer. Why are you paying your bills? Go to the damn bank and pay your bills and get your printout of what you have in the bank and stop dealing with computers. Computers are trouble. Are trouble.
Yeah, till the pandemic came along. I refused to do, I did everything directly, as you say, to the bank.
Yeah.
But the pandemic came along, you're not allowed in the bank. So that's when I started doing online banking, and I haven't had a problem since then.
You haven't, well, you said you had problems.
Well, no, that had nothing to do with the bank.
Well, telephone bill.
Well, the Bell bill, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Somebody must have broken into Bell and stolen the information. And that was the other thing is, I've now ordered stuff from out of the country. As soon as the shipping bill came in saying we've shipped your product, all of a sudden now I'm getting all these emails saying, please play the customs update. Okay, is there somebody at these companies that are passing the information on? Or have they been hacked? I don't know. But I refuse to pay customs till it shows up at my door.
But you know the problem is, we're relying on computers and we're not being physically active with our bodies. Like we're depending on these damn computers that screw up all the time and they're out to get us.
My former housekeeper went to the bank. There's money missing out of her account because one of the employees was siphoning off $100 here, $100 there, and hoping nobody would notice.
Look at your,
That's right.
to pay your bills, look at your statement, because you get a statement with all your bills paid, and then at the end of the month, you get another receipt for everything and how much you have in the bank.
You have to do that with everything. All your billing, your banking, line by line. But like when I say last year, I was 3 months having cognitive issues, and this wasn't being picked up.
I know sometimes it happens.
Well, that's what I was telling John there, senior's moment. So any other questions? Yes. The logbook is to keep if I'm going to ABC and I got to put the password in, I've got the address, email address, and the password in here.
You can also do that on your wallet online. Do you trust that?
No. No, I want something physical. And same with a lot of the things you probably said, we're going to put your stuff up on the cloud. Where is the cloud? Oh, it's spread over 5 servers down in the States. Well, I had an email address I like using because it looked good. p5brown@hawaii.com. There's a status, eh? Problem is, they went out of business. I lost everything, and they weren't even in Hawaii. They were in California. So the problem nowadays is, who the hell do you trust? And it's getting worse, unfortunately. Back prior to the pandemic, $62 million were taken off of Canadians. Last year, $823 million, and they said so far this year it's $323 million. And when I was in to talk to my rep at the credit union, he says, if you want to know what the current scams in, you can log into the Sudbury Credit Union, go under personal and go under fraud activity, and they'll tell you what the current squads that are going on. I've got one that's a freebie. I couldn't tell you because I haven't really had that much to do with them. No. Now, the other thing is, how many of you have got these external backups? 2 people. What happens if somebody steals your computer? Or something gets into your computer, you keep it here. Now then, there's 2 things with this. If you heard about these companies getting ransomware. When you back up your product, do not leave this connected to your computer. Because if they get in there with this ransomware stuff, guess what? It got compromised. So as soon as you do your backup, take it back out. So when you read about these companies that got scammed, it's because their backup is on all the time. So when the hackers get in, they hit the backup as well as your information. So never leave your backup included. You should all have one of these, because if your computer gets stolen, or you get compromised, or somebody codes all your files that you can't get into them, here's your backup. So this, for $100, this is a good investment. Any other questions?
I got 2 backups. I put one in my safety deposit box, which I re-back up maybe every 2 or 3 times a year, and then one I keep in the house out of the way.
What happens if your place gets bombed?
One in the safety deposit box.
I got one guy who puts in 5 places. He ships one to his buddy down in Toronto. He's got one out in the garage. He's got one in the drawer. And so, like, some people really like to get carried away, but your backup is your biggest savior if you get into trouble. The next thing, if your computer starts giving you problems, don't sit down and just slough it off saying, oh, it's still working. Get in and get it fixed. Well, me. If anybody wants a business card, I've got them here. I work from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and I go for my walk for an hour, and I'm open from 4 to 11 at night, and 7 days a week. No. I have done a couple that were close to me. One was an Amberwood Suite chap. I went in there, and I got in there, I couldn't believe the size of his room. And he was saying, yeah, it's expensive. I said, yeah, $5,800 a month. What? I just fell over. What was did you have a second question? No? Okay.
Well, thank you, Marlene. Charlie. Yeah. Well, just before we sort of wrap up, don't forget, if you haven't put your name in yet, we have a couple of draws. We got a 50-50 draw for CARP. We also have a draw here for the establishment. For Meadowbrook, we have a draw over there. And do we have a special prize? Oh, a special prize. Show us the prize. Oh, okay. You're going to have to stay around for that. But Jessie McIsaac said she had a special question that's going to mean something for everybody. I don't know if that's true or not, but we have our 2 experts here. Jessie, come up and tell us this question.
Actually, I have a question for both speakers. I think like me, you're all really happy to be here, and I have been scammed, and I can tell you, if you answer a call and if you stay on that line, they will outsmart you, because you can say, I don't believe you, you're scamming me. Oh, no, like they can talk me out of some money. And they have, and it's been more than once. I've had a few things happen. And I think we're all ashamed to say that, because it's embarrassing. But that wasn't what I was going to say. But I do remember phoning the police. And you know what? This was years ago, before maybe you were involved in this. The police officer said to me, "How could you believe that?" And it had to do with my driveway getting paved by, well, I wasn't the only one. There were about 6 people on my street, but you feel like a fool. But anyway, my question or my comment for you, if you answer that phone and if you say the word yes, then they can, you're talking about AI, then like if they'll say, "Am I speaking to the owner," or whatever? And now, if they get, because I've been conned a number of times, I will say, "Who is this? Where did you get my number? Why are you calling me?" And I didn't even know about. Don't say yes, because they can put your voice, and you probably would have mentioned.
So, okay. Are you the owner? I am the owner. Not yes, just I am the owner. If they ask you, "Can you hear me?" I can hear you. Just don't say the word yes. And they're going to say, "Well, yeah, I need you to say yes." Well, no, you don't. Thanks, bye. Hang up the phone. That's... No, I know, because automatically you want to say yes. But the thing is if you don't recognize the phone number, if you don't know the person that's calling you, let it go to voicemail. That eliminates that problem right there.
It doesn't go to voicemail, they ring the phone 3 times and then that's it.
That's fine. That's it. Don't answer. If you don't recognize the number, don't answer. There's another question behind you.
About one of the news scams, someone couldn't make it to the meeting or thing. There claims to be Eastlink, but phone scam. But it's an 800 number. Eastlink never uses an 800 number.
However, Eastlink is a provincial organization, and they may have an 800 number.
She called Eastlink, thought of it, called them, and they do not use an 800 number.
And that's the way to find out. But don't answer the phone if you don't know. Like, even if you do deal with Eastlink, let it go to voicemail. What harm is there in that, right? You have a question over there, sir?
Yes, one trick I use is that if I happen to answer the phone, which I can now recognize the number, which is a mistake to start off with, but then I get the voice, I say hello, and you don't recognize the voice, you say, "Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French?" Automatically, they'll either hang up or they'll say no. Is there anybody speaking English in there? I say no. Then I hang up. The speaking French works all the time.
Yes. Did everybody hear him? So, okay, so he's gotten a call and he's answered it by mistake. And he said hello. And then he said to the caller, "Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French?" By saying "Parlez-vous français," the scammer kind of went and hung up the phone because they don't understand French. They can't speak French. However, be careful with that, because if they're calling from Africa, Africa is a very French country, and they will speak to you in French. So just it can go both ways on that one.
The other thing is, back, a lot of times they call up and they're trying to get you online and you hang up. So you call back a half hour later. Back in the old days, after 15 minutes, these guys hung up because they're not going to wait around for you. Now, my customers are telling me, try 6 hours. That they'll stay online waiting for you to pick up the phone. And they'll change who's answering the phone. You don't think you're talking to the same person.
Last week I got 12 calls from the same person. The same number, the same person. 12.
Yeah, and it happens. But just to speak to what this gentleman here, to what Charlie Brown is saying here, if you get a phone, okay, so if you call 911, 911 will lock your line so that you cannot hang up on us. The reason that's done is to make sure that you are safe and they need to speak to someone. So if you accidentally call 911, don't expect to hang up and be able to pick up the phone and talk to someone else, because 911 will hold the line open until they have confirmed that you are okay, because that is their job. That is 911's job, right? Well, what these scammers are doing is they're doing the same thing. They're locking the lines. They're hoping you're going to panic and pick up the phone and dial your son or whoever without listening for a dial tone. So the trick is, if you receive a call from a scammer, before you make another call, pick up the phone and listen for a dial tone. There's no dial tone, hang up the phone. Just say, hey, get off my freaking line and hang up the phone. But act calm, don't act panicked. And that's the reason for not answering the phone. Exactly, exactly.
Some of them are calling you to see if you're home.
Yes.
Nobody answers, their moving truck shows up to your place, and your furniture's all gone.
Well, that was one of the things I did mention, that by answering the phone, you're telling them it's an active line and someone's home. Yeah. So. Yeah, call display is a godsend. And if you do not recognize the number, and what you have to remember is, and again, I've had a lady tell me that she's had a phone call of someone yelling at her because they thought that she'd called them and was trying to scam them. They use whatever number locally, they use a local number because they want you to answer the phone. Well, that phone number belongs to someone. And therefore, if you get a phone call from someone and you discover it's a scam or you hang up the phone, don't call that number back and yell at the person who owns the phone line, because it's not them. They had nothing to do with it. You can call and say, hey, did you call me? If they say, no, I don't know who you are. Okay, thank you. Because they are being scammed as well. Their phone number is being used in a scam. We could. I've got, they're reaching out.
Good. Okay, we're going to have our draw here. And
If anybody has any questions, I'm still here after.
Elise and Charlie will be here for questions afterwards. Generally, when I have a woman screaming to me on my phone, it's my wife. But Christine, you're going to have some tours afterwards, all right? Yeah. So this is the big draw from that wonderful basket over there. Do we have anything else too? Oh, and Paulette, you have some more draw stuff? No, you don't? Who's going to, Pauline? We have our own draw, 50-50 draw. You're going to do that, Pauline? Stan? Who's going to do it? I can't hear you. Come on up. Come on up. No, you're going to pick the name because you're going to get blamed for. And don't forget our Service Canada people who want to know what you want for our next meeting, because obviously we've used up quite a bit of time here. Our next meeting will be in June. It's our annual general meeting. And we're going to have, as a special guest, Andy Lowe. You all know Andy Lowe? Andy's going to be singing Sudbury songs and talking to you and discussing his musical career. And we're also hopefully going to have someone from Service Canada there. And whatever you want them to talk about, make sure you talk to them here, because so they can prepare for our next meeting and the information that you want from the Government of Canada. You know how much we've contributed to the Government of Canada over the years? This is your chance to get some information back. You don't seem too sure. Oh yeah, you're sure. Who's our winner?
Brenda Tassaro? She's still here?
Brenda, congratulations. And also our 50-50 draw. Everybody got their 50-50 tickets there? Pauline, come with the number here before this unruly crowd gets us into trouble here.
The number is 127,054. Yeah, 054 is the last four numbers. They may have gone. People are gone. Okay.
We're going to have to go to another number. We have some Zoomer magazines on the table back here before you leave if you want a copy, and some of the other information as well. Second number, you want to go last numbers?
Okay, the last three numbers. Zero, don't have my glasses here. 098. 098.
We have a winner. And you are going to be the lucky winner of 4,670,000. A little scam there, but yeah. So thanks for coming out. We hope you find your way home, and don't forget the tour of the suites too. Christine, where's that going to happen?
If you want to come in and see me here, you can go up to the new build
And don't forget, let us know what you want to hear in the next meeting from the Government of Canada.